So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how weird am I? Well, when you consider the fact that I have this Viking helmet that is not historically accurate, and this scepter, and that I call myself the eccentric raven, you can guess. Hi, I am the eccentric raven, reader and author. So a while ago, I was tagged in this tag game by Skye Hegyes, which I really appreciate. And so ever since I was tagged, I've really wanted to do this. It was just a bit difficult because of how I was just so busy during the summer. I was moving, and I had a number of other projects to work on too. So I figured I will go ahead and film this when I have the chance. So the way it is with this tag is that there's a series of questions that you can answer if you'd like to. And you can tag other author-tubers in it as well. So there is a playlist that has the known authors who have contributed to this tag. And so I have that linked below. And even if you're not tagged, just feel free to do this, all writers out there. All right, so now to answer the questions. First, do you have bizarre internet searches? If so, what's the weirdest one? Well, I Google and search for anything and everything, both for my writing and for other things. I would probably say one of the strangest was that a while ago I was looking up how much blood would you have to lose to die? Yeah, now the FBI is going to be after me. I mean, you have to realize when I'm writing a science fiction book that is titled The Blood Cleaners, isn't that something I'm going to need to know? Second question, do you write people you know and dislike into your story as villains or dumb people to kill off? I'm actually still trying to work on writing villains. Right now with where I'm at, I don't really think I'm that good with my villains right now. And, real life people do have some inspiration in my writing, though I actually focus really a bit more on basing characters off of people I like. I mean, I guess the way I could put it is that, people who I don't like don't really deserve to be in my writing. But many of my, good characters, exemplary, people, or even just kind of, morally gray people, normal flawed people, many of them do take, inspiration from, people in my life. Sorry, I had to move because of some background noise issues. So third question, does personal hygiene sometimes come second to writing? Not yet. I mean, for me, hygiene is just so important. I don't know if it's an autistic thing, but I am pretty sensitive to, feeling my own kind of filth and grime. So if I've gone too long without brushing my teeth, it really annoys me because I can just feel the filth on my teeth. I can never go a day without a shower. Unless I'm having fun out, camping in the woods, taking in nature. Yeah, but other than that, my personal hygiene comes first. A much bigger problem that I have to deal with is being distracted by social media when I should be writing or reading. Yeah, so that's just something I'm still working on. 4, do you go on baby name websites to help you name your characters? Yes, though baby name websites are only just one source. I do have both, print baby name books, and basically I use everything all around me to come up with character names. I actually made a video that I have linked below about some of my tips for character names. In short, just, everywhere all around me, I hear names, absorb them, use them. And I also like to, make up my own languages and names, for some fantasy or sci-fi alien stuff. Usually when I go on a website for baby names is normally when I'm trying to look up names of other languages and cultures, such as Korean names. 5th question, do you have a list of actors and actresses that would play your characters if there is an adaptation made? Mostly no, almost no. I mostly write, young adult, and so, my characters are teenagers. And right now I'm still working on, my writing, balancing real life with writing, while trying to make my writing be good quality, good enough of quality to be published, whatever medium I use for publishing someday. So with all the time that it would take for me to be ready to be published, I think by the time I become successful enough that I get movie rights or streaming TV show rights or anything, any current teen actors today, I'm pretty sure will be way too old and will be middle-aged then. So I guess if I ever do get lucky enough to get, movie streaming deal or whatnot, there'll most likely be some new talent, some new teenage actors. Now, I do, however, have one kind of specific casting for a character that I had envisioned long ago. See, there is this epic fantasy that I worked on a long time ago where in it I have this female character who's like a female Gandalf. It's basically this epic fantasy of mine where it's the hero's journey, but all of the figures of the hero's journey are all female. So female heroine, female sidekick, female villain, female mentor figure, female Dark Lord. And so for the female mentor character who I created, there actually was an actress who I envisioned playing her. Yeah, that actress is Jean Smart, and one role that she's especially well known for is that she was on the TV series 24 in season 5, where she played, the first lady, Martha Logan. Way back in the day, I was really into 24. I loved that show so much. And Jean Smart was a really great actress, and she did really great for that character. She really played a very central, significant role, in that show. I mean, if you've ever seen it, you'll see what a great actress she was. So, yeah, way back then, I wanted so much for her to play, my, Mrs. Terry Love, my female mentor figure. But then I had to make the mistake of going, 10 years without writing or reading. So I'm so behind trying to catch up on things. So I'm kind of afraid that by the time my story gets to that point, she will be too old or maybe even passed away, which makes me feel sad. So that's why I'm trying to catch up on things in life, accomplish my goals before it's too late. All right, 6th question. Have you ever stared at a stranger because they look like one of your characters? I mean, I'm inclined to say no, but I don't know, there's something that sounds familiar about this. I mean, there have been times before, when I've stared at a stranger who looks like someone I know in real life. There have also been times before in, movies and TV where there might be, an actor who just by coincidence looks like someone I know in real life. And so that can be, really weird, deja vu. But I haven't yet seen anything like that for any of my fictional characters. 7th question. Do you talk to yourself to help work through scenes? If so, where do you talk to yourself? Well, I talk to myself in general. I talk to myself when writing. I mean, I write anywhere, so anywhere I could just be kind of saying weird things to myself, doing kind of weird gestures and stuff like this to myself. I mean, even doing gestures I probably shouldn't, if I'm just kind of randomly doing this and someone might think I'm making fun of them. And sometimes I just make these weird kind of gibberish sounds, For a long time I always wondered why am I weird like that? It wasn't until a few years ago that then a therapist helped me figure out, oh, I'm autistic. 8th question. While writing, do you make the expressions your characters are making? Sometimes. I imitate kisses. Most of the time I just have a studious face. 9th question. Do you ever practice answering interview questions in case you make it big? Kind of. Though it mostly comes in the form of where, whenever I read an interview of an author, I think about how I would answer those questions myself. Yeah, I often think about questions that are kind of hard to answer. And I often, listen to articles that are on Substack, and they often interview authors, and a common question is how's it worded? What is one writing rule you often break, or something like that? And I think to myself, I don't really think of myself as breaking any writing rules because I don't really see any kind of certain writing rules ever. I mean, rules are meant to be broken. I think pretty much everybody breaks any supposed rules. So that's a question that'd be hard for me to answer. Last question, number 10. Do you have a soundtrack and or playlist for your book or scenes from your book? Ah, yes, 100%, yeah. All throughout the years, I've made new playlists of songs that go with my stories, and back in the day when I was really into burning CDs, I would often burn CDs that were a compilation of all of these, songs that would be like a soundtrack to my story or inspire things. And see, part of the thing too is that a lot of my writing itself has been inspired by music. I mean, like my epic fantasy that I call The Keeper of Morala. So much of that, so many of the ideas that I got were actually from songs. I've always been into Celtic music, and there are a lot of like, Celtic folk songs, Celtic poetry and stuff that inspired like so many of like kind of the story points and plots. And back when I used to have an iPod, like I had like lots of really long playlists that would go with each of my stories. And then nowadays on YouTube, like, I keep many, private playlists of, songs that like, kind of go with, each of my stories. And I do have one public playlist, which is linked below for the Blood Cleaners. Songs that go pretty well with, my characters and scenes and events in the Blood Cleaners. Especially a lot of nice love songs for my main character and love interest. Alright, that's it. So, what do you think? How weird am I? So I am going to tag 3 author tubers: Jenna the Soul Rider, Rhiannon Fucht, I think so how you say it, Fucht, Rhiannon Fucht, and Stephanie of Cordy. No obligation to make a video like this, but if you do make a video and respond to the 10 questions in this tag, please let me know and I'll be happy to watch it. Thank you so much for watching, and if you're not already, please subscribe so then you can see my latest videos. Please like this video so then the YouTube algorithm will like it. And I hope to see you next time. The Eccentric Raven thanks you.